Hey, what's up, people? Jason DeBias here. This is episode 4 of Sports Debate Tuesday. This is brought to you by Endless Summer Beach Volleyball and Beach Volleyball National Events, and also by NY Varsity Sports. Here we go. Once again, thank you for having us in your living room. Thank you for having us on your tablet at Starbucks. Thank you for having us on your iPad, on whoever's roof. I'm Jason DeBias. This is Rob McLean. Rob, keep 'em McLean. This is Sports Debate Tuesday, and don't really know what we're going to tackle first. Miranda, our moderator, my tech, my hostess with the mostest, will lead us in.
All right, we're going to start talking about the NBA All-Star Game that just happened this past weekend. It had a new format where you win by quarters, and in the fourth quarter, the game clock was turned off and the final score was set. So, Jason, did the new format save the All-Star Game?
Short answer, Rob McLean. And for you people listening at home, yes, abso-freaking-lutely. I got sponsors. I ain't cursing on this show. First of all, there was a different mood, Rob, when I was watching this game. I mean, in the beginning, it looked like every other All-Star game. It's like this guy alley-oop, this guy just let him dunk. It basically looked like a Knicks regular season game. All right? Oh, sorry. By the way, Knicks, I'm officially divorced. See this? This is a Brooklyn Nets hat. I am from Brooklyn. Forget the Knicks. Forget Mr. Dolan or whatever the hell his name is. Bye. Okay, now.
Russian president.
Knicks notwithstanding, it looked like basically just everybody just dunking on each other. In fact, you know how like the defender smiles, like, oh, nice dunk. It's like this whole friendly game. And in the beginning, it was like that. Mm-hmm. But then people started thinking about their charities. And then people started thinking about like LeBron just went for a jump shot and like Greek Freak blocked and knocked his jump shot out of the air.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you want to make it personal? And then at the other end, he pickpocketed them. And now, all of a sudden, the referees who thought they're going to have the day off again just started calling fouls. Uh-huh. And I bring your attention to the not to the charity games, not to quarter 1, 2, 3. It was very entertaining to watch these guys showcase their talent. Bring your attention to the fourth quarter. There were 22 fouls called in the game. By the way, for regular season games, for the 800 plus games that have been played, Rob, that's 8th. 22 fouls called in an All-Star game, which ranks 8th amongst so far all of the regular season games. It had a finals type atmosphere where all of a sudden stuff got personal. You know, you got Simmons, he's taking a flop, and he's like, why am I taking a flop? This is an All-Star game. I shouldn't be begging for a call. You got oh my goodness, you got people arguing with the referees. You got them appealing. You got the referees doing reviews, holding up an All-Star game and have people sit around for reviews. And it had this playoff atmosphere. And for those of you listening at home, basically they take the combined scores of the first 3 quarters, and then they add 24 points to it, a tribute to Kobe Bryant. And that's the score you had to reach. The fourth quarter did not have a time. They had a shot clock, but not a game clock. So basically, I'll skip the math and just say you had the first team to reach 157 points wins, Rob. Rob, when you get to 155 and you're down by a few points, all of a sudden you start playing defense because you know the other team can't play keep away ball. It almost had a volleyball feel, right? Like you're up 19-16 and you can't. You don't just get to play keep away. You got to go those last 2 points. And this thing where it was almost like street ball, organized street ball, where you get to shoot free throws. Rob McLean, the floor is yours. I'm talking a lot, and I hope I ain't take away everything you were about to say. But listen, and bottom line, I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. That was the best All-Star game that I have ever witnessed, just because it was more than
Sorry,
5.
Happened again. Got to press record and then press record again. Sorry, Rob.
Oh, you good. Yeah, it was just the All-Star game itself was unbelievable. Like, all you have to do is have the players play. That's really, all you have to do, and that's what they weren't having. 3 years ago, they took the NHL All-Star game format and made it a fantasy draft, which put some kind of emphasis back into it. But now the actual gameplay is all-star level. Like, how do you have an all-star game and all they do is dunk for 4 quarters? Like, I'm so happy they did this, because now I don't have to stop watching basketball on the All-Star break. I can continue watching. Actually, be like happy to see the All-Star break coming around. See who's the new players. See Derek Jones Jr. going dunking against Aaron Gordon. Like, these are great things that they've been doing, and I'm really happy that the All-Star game has become something to cherish, as opposed to something to, just scoff at, and all these guys are just joking around, because that's what it was. It was a joke. It was a joke. The All-Star game was a joke, and now it's...
It would be the one time where, like, if the Oscars were on the same night, and I'm a sports guy, I'm always going to watch sports first. I'd watch the Oscars.
Totally. I would, too, and it's sad to say, but I would. I would even watch curling, probably. It's my least favorite sport, but I would watch that over a non-competitive joke game, It's just... It's sad. But, yeah, I really enjoyed that, and I was really happy to see that. Great plays. I think Chris Paul with a freaking alley-oop. Like, come on.
Yeah. Did you the dunk?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, Chris. Yeah. I was like...
I didn't even know he could do that. Not even back in Wake Forest. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
No.
So, yeah, it was great. There was a lot of energy in the building. The whole, like, I really didn't even, like... again, with the Kobe, like, it just hits you again every time. They come back with, the memoriam, all the stuff before, in the middle, after the whole game, the MVP trophy now being after Kobe Bryant. It's just so much energy.
How much of this effort that you saw, particularly in the fourth quarter, had to do with that, maybe, and how much of it had to do with the new format?
Question. I think a great question. I think it's exactly about 50-50.
Okay.
I think the timing was perfect. The format was fantastic, and everything kind of rolled together, because it was just like you said. The first quarter was exactly what we all thought it was going to be: dunking, no defense, rolling the ball down the floor. And then second quarter, third quarter, it just got more serious. You know what it reminded me of?
What was
it
that?
reminded me of Kobe Bryant playing that whole All-Star game.
Which, by the way, was probably the last time we saw people hustle up and foul and D up.
When he was playing.
Yeah, there was Jordan. I mean, I don't want to go before that, because I don't know. I don't know what kind of person money was on the line for All-Star games before this happened, but those guys were playing,
or
dude.
betting or whatever. But.
And I'm like, oh my God, Jordan would rather play with Isaiah Thomas and Dennis Rodman than lose. Right? These are conference rivals, dude. I had a little bit of
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, actually, I had. You don't have to pull it up. I actually had the format written down, but I thought we did a good job just covering it and playing English. I think. In fact, I thought I said too much. What do you think of the whole 24 thing? Like 24 points.
That was interesting. Yeah, so I read a little bit about it, and I knew, like, while I was watching it, but I didn't know exactly how, because I guess I just missed that explanation point. But yeah, it was. I knew that the end score was 157, and in each quarter you'd have to win to, put your points up to a certain amount. But yeah, it was just. I still don't understand what the winning of the quarters does. You know what I mean? I don't really. Get that.
It was $100,000 to the
whatever
their charities. Yeah. So
right,
how much you love your charity? I don't know.
What does the All-Star game means? It's not like, in baseball, you win the All-Star game, the home team, the National League, American League.
I don't think so.
I don't believe there's anything there. So that's why, again, the incentive's not there to win the game. You know what I mean? So they had to do something. So great job.
Yeah, man, terrific work. Particularly the people that made it happen. Chris Paul's the one with the came up idea. Adam Silver, one of the most NBA player friendly commissioners you're going to see possibly in the history, and taking nothing away from David Stern, who made these people wear suits. It's like Bill Belichick to wear a hoodie, man, but you wearing a suit.
He put Shaq in a suit.
Yes, he did.
I mean, God dang.
Yeah. Yeah,
they didn't even make Shaq suits back then.
That was cool, man. Cleaning up the image. I know a lot of people take exception to that, but it is what it is, and I like what I see, and I love what I saw last night, because the NBA the last 3 years, I feel like it's back, and you don't want to take a break from a franchise like that's back by cheapening it by just
doing the same old.
Yeah. By just letting anybody beat up on you and just score and see we can break the record for most points. That's who gets an MVP? Who gets the MVP? I mean, come on, no, nobody. But this one's very deserving MVP. It's Kawhi Leonard, 30 points. So LeBron, I think, scored 36, but timely shots, and I love that good guys do finish last, man. They finish at the end. Nice guys do finish last. Good for him. Good for Kobe Bryant. Good for the NBA.
Yeah.
Miranda, what's up?
All right, we're going to go to baseball. So there were some apologies from Houston. Yeah, at the same time, they claim that their cheating had little effect on the awards and accolades. They're now speaking up against Bellinger and others to know the facts before making accusations. So, Rob, did cheating affect the end result? And did Altuve, in fact, rob Judge of the 2017 MVP?
Yeah, so absolutely. It's funny, just going off the last segment of a great commissioner, leading into another great commissioner. We have in baseball Robert Mansfred, who is an awful, awful baseball commissioner, and I only say that because his actions say that. When you allow teams to win a World Series and then not take it away from them, you're only creating precedent. And this is something I was saying earlier. They lost the last 2 years in the playoffs. What would happen if they had won those 2 years and they won 3 World Series? Do you think that commissioner would have done anything to take those World Series away? Because it was just one. It was their very first in the franchise.
I can't wait till it's my turn.
So there's that. But did it impact the awards? Did it impact the World Series title? All right. In baseball, the game itself is between a pitcher and a hitter, and you have to guess the pitch. You have to react to the pitch. If you don't have to react to the pitch anymore, a little bit of what's going on, you're going to be better. I don't care. You might not get a hit. You might not get the double you needed. You might get a single instead. You might get a home run instead of a triple instead of a grand slam, but you're still going to make contact with the ball. You're still going to have the advantage. That is the advantage. It's not about are you going to win the game or are you not going to win the game. It's in the middle of the game, what was happening,
right?
And then we can talk about the player splits from home and away, and we could say that the home, has a bigger advantage, but not by double what you do.
Oh my God!
If you go away and you do half, and then you come home and you do double, you shouldn't be in the playoffs.
No.
That's just what it is. So it has to be so perfectly planned that every single time you need it, you get it. That's cheating. And I'm all for finding people's tells. And if you can, from second base, communicate to one hitter somehow, it's still cheating, but that's okay in a sense that it's not an organization cheating to make your players better. And then last thing on top of that, if that team sucked and they went to the World Series and they did it, I don't know, maybe it's different. But the team was stacked. That was the most stacked team in the last 3. Every single of the last 3 years, that was the most stacked team.
I give the Boston Red Sox a nod on that. They were the best team I saw in two
pitching
decades.
staff. Not pitching staff.
Yeah.
Not pitching staff.
No, you're right.
And that's where it goes first. Listen to this lineup.
Yeah, these are 1-0 wins, man.
What 1-2 does anybody in the league have? Verlander, Garrett Cole.
There is none.
Nobody.
There is none.
I would beg to differ in the last 10, 20 years.
And if you remember in the 7-game series in the Yankees, I don't believe the Yankees scored a run the last 2 games. Game 6 and 7, right? 0 runs.
Yep.
Ooh.
Shut them down.
Yeah.
Shut them down. And then they had that crafty lefty. They had Mike Fears. There's just so many things that made them an amazing team. 7 hitters that were all-star caliber players. That's insanity. And then they cheated. And then you're going to give them off. Yeah. And then, last thing, sorry.
Please, this is why we're here, man.
To the point of Cody Bellinger and people saying that they shouldn't have won, those are their opinions off of things that they have experienced firsthand. So how dare you, not only in your apology, come back and throw shade on people who are just expressing their opinions on something they have been inflicted by, and try to spin it off as they're the good guys, or they were misled by the people that were supposed to keep them going in the right line. And it's just so wrong, because any player knows that something not right's going on, you stop.
Yeah.
You ask questions. And there's no way that 7 all-star caliber players didn't ask a single question at all. So, sorry, can't believe them. Not never. What you got, Jay? Because I hit a lot of points.
My turn. Oh man, I feel like Skip Bayless. Tell me when it's my turn, Rob. Before I say what I gotta say, I wanna reiterate, if not co-sign on what you talked about, as far as talking about someone's performance. For those of you that are watching, whether you are talking about a baseball player, whether you're talking about I'm a volleyball guy. At no time, this is a sports debate show. You attacked a baseball commissioner with baseball. You didn't say anything about his mother. You didn't say he should go die. And this is the problem I have with a lot of volleyball people listen to me that take exception to, oh, he said this, I said that. No, I attack volleyball players with volleyball. We are attacking baseball players with baseball. So I wanted to get that out of the way. There's a personal attacks on someone's person, their right to exist, and there's attacking someone at their job. Okay, and that's why I thought Bellinger was in the right. Bellinger, who's a professional, that's his wheelhouse. He's reacting to something, and I'm not talking about the First Amendment because that only prevents you from government prosecution. So just shut up about that. I'm talking about reacting to something that happened in his wheelhouse that he, in some cases, was a participant. Mm-hmm. Right? It's almost like you're in the middle of a fixed game and you're not even doing anything wrong. Right. So, with that being said, Rob McLean, when I first heard about the punishments, because for anyone who doesn't know, the Astros were stealing signs. Basically, they were videotaping the signals from the catcher, and they were using either a twitch device, like a buzzer on the player's uniform, which we'll talk about in a minute, maybe, or there was loud banging of garbage cans. I saw a video. They're banging the garbage can twice every time it was a changeup for a pitcher whose best pitch was a changeup. Mm-hmm. So that's what's going on. Yeah, you can plug that in while I talk, definitely. So when I first heard this, and I looked at the punishment, I saw the GM got fired. All right. Mm-hmm. I saw manager got fired. Boom. Beltran is with another team. He ain't coaching no more, right?
Well, he just got accepted.
You're hired. By the way, you're fired. You got Martinez, Red Sox coach. He's gone.
Cora. Alex Cora.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Alex Cora. Gone. So you look at all of these managers and these GMs and his whatever. So my first reaction when I saw all of these people at the higher ups gone, falling on that sword, why aren't any of the players suspended? Why aren't they? So my question was, you know why? Because I started doing a comparison from other sports. Tom Brady was accused of Deflategate. Absent of evidence, just strong suspicion, if not found guilty by the court of public opinion, was suspended for 4 games. Ben Roethlisberger was accused of rape, if not sexual assault. Just on the allegation alone, and if his behind should be in jail, it was rape. But if it wasn't, the man got suspended for 4 games. So I'm doing a comparative of players who were suspended not only with the absence of evidence, but not even reasonable suspicion.
Right.
And these players, with evidence, have been cheating and receiving these signals, and none of them get suspended?
Nothing.
That was my first take. But after thinking about it, the difference between Brady, the difference between Roethlisberger, the difference between any football player that gets, or MMA fighter, or that gets tested positive for performance-enhancing drug, any basketball player that can't stay off the weed, the difference between them, those players, and what happened here, Rob, this was systematic. Mm-hmm. This is organizational. This came from the top down. This was protocol. This was policy. If not, what you and I can make the leap and say it's a direct order.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I think the players didn't get axed for it is because baseball players get traded all the time. Sooner or later, they're going to wind up with other teams. This little love affair Houston's having right now ain't going to last forever.
Well, it's already done.
Yeah.
I mean, they trade away their entire pitching staff.
Yeah.
So.
But it worked out. They got in the playoffs, and they were in a position to win a World Series 3 times, and they won twice. Altuve, the guy who's like 5 foot, I don't even know, who doesn't even have a strike zone. Every time you pitch, he crouches. Mm-hmm. So he crouches the calls high. So the only way to pitch to him, it really is just to throw it over the plate, which he'll be more than glad to take the bat, which is the same size as him, and hit it over the deck. So you telling me this guy who with a small strike zone, who's already a high IQ baseball player, is getting signals? Is getting calls? What the actual freak, man? They can go kick rocks. That is my sentiment on this whole thing. And that's where I'm going. And I mean, and we're gonna finish because I have a question for you. Baseball players have a habit of getting after people by throwing at them, and the commissioner issued a stern warning saying that there'll be consequences about that.
What is that? What is that? How is that? Because in baseball, there's unwritten rules, right? And I get to keep players safe, but there's a difference between throwing at somebody's head and throwing at somebody's feet and throwing at somebody's body. Like, that happens all the time. So, no offense, you can't stop that. And if you do, then you're showing your true colors, which is you should have punished them further so that nobody else can punish them. That's what's going on. Yeah. And I was saying this again before. Sorry, 2 more points.
Please.
4 draft picks is BS.
$5 million is BS. The revenue.
But 4 draft picks is supposed to hold value. In the majors, there's like 100-round draft. No. Do you know what 4 draft picks mean? Nothing.
Not a whole lot. I can't even tell you who Can you tell me who the number 1 draft pick was 2 years ago?
Nope.
Last year?
I could tell you it was for the Yankees, but that's about it. Well, that's it, man.
Team,
but even that, they're not going to get to the majors for 4 or 5 years. So it's like, it's really like a hit or miss when it comes to the draft. So the draft picks mean nothing. If we're talking about draft picks in football, we're talking about first-round picks in basketball, those mean something. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But if you're not in the first 20-something picks in baseball, your draft means nothing. It means nothing.
Rob, my only question to you is, and this is a rhetorical question, but feel free to answer if you'd like to, because we're boys, okay? You're my friend. You're my brother from another mother. My question is this. As far as like warning people from hitting people with a pitch, what took so long? What took so long? You got guys on performance-enhancing drugs just jacking balls over it or whatever. You got guys testing positive for this. You have guys charging them out. And now that someone actually got caught cheating, and I mean legit cheating. I mean, why the hell is Pete Rose not in the Hall of Fame? Guy bet on himself. Now you want to issue a stern warning about hitting people with a pitch? What?
Yeah.
Really? Like that's gonna happen? What are you gonna do? Suspend a pitcher for 5 games?
Because he missed his target.
He's not gonna pitch. He's not gonna pitch again to 5 games anyway. Exactly. So basically,
I'm gonna
my next start is right on schedule.
I'm gonna do it 2 months into the season, get myself a nice 3-month rest, and I'm good. I'm good for the playoffs. One more thing though I want to say. Houston.
This is important for me because baseball, like basketball, looked like it was back.
Yeah, it really did. It really did. I mean,
for like
there's
a hot
so
second.
many teams, and then you got like the Oakland A's coming in with their whole like Billy Beane strategy and trying to like do everything the right way and build through the draft and the right players and analytics, and it's just this crap. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I just want to say, like, this is their lineup: George Springer, Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, Yuri Gurriel. They at one point had Carlos Beltran. Then you have, what'd you have? Alex Bregman.
That's a rock star, dude.
You know what I'm saying? John McGann. Like, Brian McCann, sorry. I mean, it's just like over and over and over. Like, that's what they had every single night. 7 players that were all-star caliber. That's sick. That and then ridiculous. They said, we got to cheat. I just can't. I can't
you can't stomach it.
I can't stomach it because, and this is why the players they said to not get punishments is because the management is supposed to tell them when things aren't going the right way. They should, or the commissioner issued a letter or an understanding that they should stop what they're doing because they have accusations going on or something that needs to stop. And apparently the GM didn't forward that letter. But regardless, if something's going on, then you already know something's going on. If they're stealing signs, who are they stealing them from? Like,
and how many times you got to tell somebody before you slam them? What is this? Is this Lindsay Lohan in court?
Like, if you steal the sign,
you gotta know that's one more strike. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, but if you steal the sign, who are you giving it to? You know what I'm saying? You're not giving it to like people at your house, you're giving them to the players in the field. So the players in the field are using something to do something. Like no you can't say that they're not knowing what's going on.
No one's getting it on a late text. Yeah. I'm doing that right behind you, Rob McLean. Right behind your head. Look at that.
What?
Current events. The whole time he's talking, looking behind him. I'm okay. Jay, what are you doing? What are you doing?
All right, yeah, I think we nailed that Astros one, but man, I just cannot deal with that because
I'm so
Carlos
over that,
Beltran
dude.
and the Mets, and then Alex Correa, they had a sick team too.
Yeah,
Boston, they were rocking it one time with Alex Correa, so I can only imagine what they were doing. They were talking like they were doing the whole Billy Bean thing where they're trying to do it the right way, but
it hurts the sport of baseball, Rob. Listen, again, just like the NFL, which always seems it's up pretty much the last decade. Basketball's back as of a few years ago. Baseball looked like it was right there, and just when it seemed like they hit the cusp of being America's pastime again, of being a deserving member of the Big Three. Right. They're still a member of the Big Three, just not a deserving member. And just when they hit that cusp and they said we're back, boom. This is a black eye to the sport of baseball on all levels.
I think it's
particularly
more,
Little League, and kids that are watching this.
But I think it's even more than people think. I think they're trying to downplay it, but this is worse than steroids.
No.
This is really because it's systematic, like you're saying. Anybody can really implement it, and hey, if you don't get caught soon enough, get a World Series, and then just
Yeah, and again, it is worse because performance-enhancing drugs. Those people are rogue.
But it's individuals.
Yeah, those people are going rogue. They're going to tell you to juice up to the gills and not get caught.
But even if it's a team, no way did you have 7 guys juicing on the line, and they're all all-stars. There's no way that they could have done anything about those players unless they were cheating.
That don't seem possible.
It's like, man, they didn't cheat. They just cheated. They did things the wrong way.
Mind you, they got caught. There's no evidence of anything else, but the question is, it's just like steroids. When you got caught, how long have you been doing it? Yeah. People are not going to believe, I only did it this one time. And that was the one time I happened to get caught.
Don't you see the prick? There's only one prick in there.
Oh, my God, yeah. It's going to be a boot.
Yeah. That's rough.
All right, so Miranda, I think we
sure?
I think we gave this this issue.
We might need
it's supposed to be a debate show, but damn, right?
Yeah, we went off.
We didn't argue about nothing on that one.
He's passionate about this.
No, that was a
coming from New York. I think we both have the same opinion on that.
Oh, you mean New York, home of the most celebrated franchise in all of sports, the New York Yankees? Miranda, next question.
Oh man. All right, we're gonna touch on this past weekend in UFC. Corey Anderson got KO'd by Jan Blachowicz. I really hope I didn't attack that name. Jon Jones apparently promised Jan a title fight if he won. So, Jason, do you think Jon Jones is ducking the Reyes rematch or just doing his own thing?
It's a good question. Rob McLean. Is Jon Jones ducking Reyes? The answer is no, not ducking in a sense that he's not interested in fighting him again because he's scared, or not interested because he doesn't want to go through the whole rigmarole of training for that fighter. Jon Jones, it seems like the second time he fights somebody, he's always a better version, right? Like Gustafsson, finish. Cormier's decision, kick to the head. Reyes might be worse. Jon Jones is ducking him in a sense that he's trying to move on with his career. By his own admission, he says he's still young, but MMA is not exactly like a longer lifespan, especially as you start getting hit more and people start figuring you out. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to clean out the division before he moved on with Stipe Miocic or Cormier or what have you, maybe moving to heavyweight for a couple of matches. With that being said, it leads to the question of this. Did he clean out the division? And yes, but not really.
Right.
Blachowicz, his last few fights, and I'm going to pull it up in a minute. I don't know if Miranda has it on a pull-up, but I'm gonna show you. Actually, I guess I'm not. No, but Blachowicz has fought a lot of good fighters, a slew of good fighters. He had a close split decision, I believe, against Santos. Do you have it up there? Can you pull it up?
Yeah. Do you want to?
Cool. Yeah. Sorry.
So you guys can both see.
Definitely. Yeah. So look at that. He knocked out Luke Rockhold. No surprise there. The split decision was Jacare, who also moved up.
And they talked about that. I mean, Jacare is really, really difficult because he's he can really destroy you as a big guy on the ground. That doesn't happen very much.
So as I was saying, and I'm getting somewhere with this, Jon Jones, he fought Santos, split decision. Fought Reyes, split decision. So I have no problem with him fighting someone like Blachowicz or even Corey Anderson if Corey won, where everyone months ahead of time is like, oh, this is a mismatch. Jon Jones is going to kill him. And it's like the last few times we thought it was a mismatch. Jon Jones. History only remembers the winner, but MMA enthusiasts like you and me, his last two matches, he was in for the fight of his life. Mm-hmm. A split decision, which many thought Santos won. I did not.
I did not.
And then this last match, a lot of people Reyes we're split on that one. You got Jones and I got Reyes.
I mean, I still think that, just to reiterate, I think that Reyes probably won if the points were done correctly.
Yeah.
I just feel like Jon Jones did enough in championship rounds. But sorry.
No, but to answer your question, he is ducking in a sense that he wants to move on. And he wants to move on to other things. Now that's him. For me, if you're asking me, Miranda and Rob, do I want to see the rematch? Yeah. I thought Reyes done enough to earn a rematch. I think he gassed at the end, but it's usually when you gas, sometimes you get taken down and you get finished by Jones. He got taken down, he got right back up. He got rocked on some body kicks, which if you've ever gotten kicked in the liver, your whole body shuts down for a few seconds. And he had that little Mexican warrior spirit, if that in fact is what he is.
Yeah, no, Jon Jones to me is on his decline. Just watching him in the last couple fights, his output has been low. What he does with his output is not, it doesn't connect, right? So he'll do something, hit a move, and then 10, 15, 20 seconds later, he'll start to create more offense again. It's never connecting. And I'm not saying he has to, blow his load in the first 2-3 rounds, but even in the fourth and fifth rounds, which he won,
right?
I never felt that Reyes was in trouble. That's something where I feel like it has to be implemented in the scoring, because people can get hit a lot. You know what I mean? But there's some people out there that take things a lot more than others. So if you're not shaking, if you're not in a wavering position, then those aren't. You can't consider those either power shots or taking control of that. Taking control, because controlling the offense. Octagon control is also a part of that. So,
but they said the particular order was striking. They had an order: striking, grappling, and octagon control. They said,
right.
And at the end they say in that order. Right,
but even in that, how much more would grappling mean if one guy didn't grapple at all, and then the striking is won by the guy who doesn't grapple, but it's not that big where you can't ever take a single takedown. It's just I don't know. But for me,
right here matches. Sorry, go ahead.
Jon Jones is ducking Reyes, if not at least at the short term, right? Because if Reyes is the guy who kind of got beat up a little bit more, in a sense, and he's saying he wants the rematch right away. I know there's that adrenaline to a rematch, but that's the fight you make. That's going to be the moneymaker. That's going to be everything. And I think that's what Jon's trying to do, is trying to maybe build up that fight a little bit. Yeah.
And Jon's got to know he's going to be in for the fight of his life. Mm-hmm. I mean, his last 3 fights, they were all good fighters, but he did catch him on some premature, not ready stuff.
Well,
similar to what I thought Rousey and Holm was going to be. Mm-hmm. Everyone was like, oh my God, Holly Holm's 8-0, man. Why? That's too soon. She just got out of kickboxing, and now you're going to shove her in there with the champ. And, but Holly won. Yeah. And it was crazy because Reyes, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, oh man, they got him on some not ready stuff. And maybe 2 years from now he would have been ready to compete, and then bam.
Same with Israel Adesanya, what I mean?
Listen, he did walk him down, but there's so many instances where he stopped Jones in his tracks. And eventually started chasing him. Didn't Jones back up and create a buttload of space so he didn't get hit anymore?
Well, he did his whole runaway thing, and then I loved what I saw from Dominick Cruz, first guy to ever actually kick the guy who's running away, instead of just let him run around the cage, turn his back, run around the cage, and then turn back and fight the guy. Yeah. It's like the most. It's like when you're boxing, they tell you, first of all, never turn your back.
Right.
And second of all, you move to create space to then attack again. You don't run away and then turn back around and then fight some. You know what I mean? Like that's.
I've seen similar matches, and particularly in the lighter weight classes where the guy's sticking and moving. He's not running. He just prefers not to. He prefers not to have his back against the cage where he can get pieced up. You know, where against the fighter who has the longer reach to begin with. Right. Reyes fought a smart fight. He tagged him, and if he caught him, then he went in again. And if it wasn't enough to finish him, he assessed the damage and moved back out. Mm-hmm. And by the time Jones went to hit back, he was gone. And that's how you. To me, that kind of fighter, that's how you're supposed to fight. Yes. Like I saw Dotson against John Lineker. I mean, this is for the MMA enthusiasts only. Dotson for like 3 rounds boxed his ears off, and they gave the fight to Lineker just for leading with his chin, you know, and I guess just throwing up his hands like, oh, he's running, you know. I mean, you sell that to judges who don't freaking know any better.
Well, that was tough.
Yeah, we're not. I mean,
we cannot.
We got more debate questions. We ain't getting into no judges.
All I gotta ask about is, do you think there's monitors on the bottom side of the octagon, or do you think that? Because what's funny is when they showed that picture of, did you see that picture where they had a picture of the referee looking at the monitors they said they had on the bottom of the octagon. Yeah. And what's funny is the thing that Joe Rogan was in the live broadcast, the guy was sitting and looking the other way. So, of course, that's not the same picture, but it's just like it would have been blatantly visible, you know, and then nobody would ever have to say anything if the guy is like looking onto something.
And didn't you notice the last 3 rounds, Joe was talking up Jones? Great shot by Jones. Great shot. They had an exchange. They both hit each other. Oh, great kick by Jones. And, you know, Joe's just a prisoner of the moment. I don't think he was being objective. I mean, not objective. But if a guy's got his monitor on and he's listening to Joe, and then you look at the fight highlights, Jones back up and he caught him there. Here's a later round. Jones did this. Jones does that. And the judge is like, dude, I saw a different fight, but if Joe's saying this, I don't want to mess up the scorecards. 4 rounds to Jones.
That's just,
Joe said it on his podcast like a year and a half ago. He said there was one judge and he didn't want to put him on Front Street that went by listening to the broadcast by people. I don't even think they should be next to them. You know, I mean,
I think it was Joe Rogan's podcast. They were saying, in all reality, there's about 18 qualified judges, you know, in this country, and that they're just not being chosen. So it's like, because even if you get 2 good judges, you get 1 bad judge, and you get some weird decisions.
Yeah,
you know,
that happened twice tonight. 2 times that I know of. He was complimenting the judges, the prelims, and then the judge gave the other fighter 30-27. When the other guy, the other dude won, like, it was Martinez. I think Martinez won 29-28, and judge was like, okay, forget everything I said about the judges. You know, it was just a weird night. But last question before we move on to whatever. Where does Corey Anderson go from here?
Tough, man. I mean, Corey is going right back where he started, man. Yeah. Right back into the grinder. And it's tough because he fought for 3 years. Yeah, working himself in this position. Just to get to this position. You know, and now he's fighting.
Would he have gotten the title shot if he won? Probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because, again, I think that Jon Jones.
And they had a story.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he and Jon Jones were trying to fight for a long time. Corey Anderson trying to call out Jon Jones. And then he finally worked to a position where he could fight Jon Jones, and then he gets knocked out by Jan. And the thing is I think Jan is going to do some damage to Jon, but I think Jon is just way too smart. Like, he's going to get in there deer in the headlights. Yeah, he's not. Because I've seen Jan impressed me in, you know, the rock hold a little bit, but just like how he moved forward. Yeah. And then his last fight was good, but there was nothing new. You know, there was just Corey Anderson not doing what Corey Anderson does. You know, Jon Jones doesn't take people down. You can't take Jon down, but Jon doesn't really take people down.
He chooses not to. Right. If you notice, the people that he has taken down were elite wrestlers. Yeah. Daniel Cormier was an elite wrestler. Chael Sonnen, okay, you know,
I mean, a little
long at the
bigger
tooth.
Dude,
I don't know. I think he's one of those guys that, if you remember in the past, he would challenge himself. I want to beat this striker at striking. I want to beat the jiu-jitsu guy at jiu-jitsu. And if you look at his track record of not just his wins, but in the manner of how he did it, you slept Machida, just dropped him. technical submission. Slut Machida, take down Daniel Cormier. Rampage Jackson, outstruck him, but eventually took him down because, Rampage could hurt him. And that's what I think he's going to do to Blachowicz. Sorry, say it again.
Blachowicz.
Blachowicz has power in both hands. And Jones has a chin, but if he wants to be an active fighter, if he wants to fight 3 times a year, I'm telling you, he's gonna get a single leg or a power double, and I'm very interested to see how Blachowicz does.
And I gotta say that too. It's really true. Like, everybody wants to see the 10 out of 10 knockout. Every single fight. But these guys are fighters. They go in there not only protecting themselves, but also trying to take that guy out. You know what I mean? So to play like a guy like Corey Anderson, who goes to his wrestling if his striking doesn't work well. I
thought he was gonna win, dude.
I did too, but
I knew he could get caught because I remember he fought OSP. He's up 2 rounds to 0 and he got kicked in the head. But
the thing is he tried to strike.
Right.
He knew what the guy was. He tried to just play his game plan, do the long game, and then when he got him tired in the second round, it's just like, dude, just go straight to the takedown. He can't do anything to you. So it's kind of disappointing seeing that. But also, Jan, I heard he just brought in his new coach. I mean, his old coach that he got up into UFC with, and so I really liked what he was doing, and he was always moving forward, never really on his back foot. Like, I really, really liked what I saw. But Jon Jones is a whole different level. Even this Jon Jones is a different level than that.
We also need to remind our viewers too, like, when you're in championship matches, finishes happen. There's less likelihood that finishes happen. The reason why the person's a champion in the first place is because he doesn't get caught in submissions.
Right.
He doesn't put himself in a position to get knocked out. And there are some fighters, when they get hit, and you hit them with everything you have, they're not smiling at you, but they ate it.
Yeah.
So everyone does everyone like the quick knockout. I'm a purist, not because I'm a former fighter, but I'm a purist because I like the whole aspect of mixed martial arts. I think jiu-jitsu is slick, and just watching people do that. I like positions, I probably belong in Japan, right? You see someone get taken down, and when he gets up, everyone starts clapping, like, because of the way he found a way to get up,
right.
So, yeah, but Jon is ducking, but not because he's scared. That was my opinion.
Totally. But he is ducking.
He is. But that's the net result on that one, right?
You guys ready for the last one?
Yeah, what do you got?
All right, we're going to turn to beach volleyball. So we have the Olympics coming up in Tokyo, just around the corner. Who do you guys think are going to be the American teams that are going to represent the U.S.? Whoever wants to take it.
So we got 2. I mean, Taylor and Jake, obviously, I think they've been front runners for a pretty long time now. The real question is who's going to be that second team. Is it going to be Trevor, or is it going to be Nick and Phil? And for me, I heard through the grapevine that Phil and Nick were talking about,
right?
Maybe not, and that they decided that they're full on, they're ready to go, that they want to do it. So, for me, in a game of volleyball, which is changing and going a lot faster now, I'd have to go with veterans, but I really just think that Try and Trevor are going to do it. I don't know. I think they're getting the right coaching. I think they're playing the right style of game, and I think that they're only going to improve. I think Phil and Nick have to find that fire again and keep it. That's hard. It's really hard when you're saying this is going to be my last Olympics. I'm not going to really maybe play beach volleyball in the international scene after this. Like, to find that fire again and just keep it for that little period and to keep it strong. It's not just a fire. It's like a burning fire. You got to play at the top level.
It's in your belly.
I'm not saying they can't do it, but there's
your belly.
There's some things about that team that seemed a little off, with the side out percentage maybe, or like, transition, getting the points, like finishing the points, that I can't see it. I think that Trevor and Try are a little bit smoother in that aspect. They're young, they're hungry, they're right in the mix, so I see it being the Crab brothers, It's just how I see it, I think, right now.
We're definitely going to address the same question for the women, for the American women's teams, but for now, let's tackle the men. Rob, looked at the rankings. I looked at the possible ways to get into the Olympics. There's two ways to get into the Olympics. One, you win a bid tournament, which I think that there's, to my knowledge, and someone can write and correct me, I think there's only one left. Meaning, if you win this particular tournament, you have an automatic bid in the Olympics, and then, and of course, your volleyball governing body can arbitrarily uphold that rule or just kind of do whatever they want, which scares me, and I shouldn't even say that. I'm going to skip that. So looking at the rankings right now, you got Trevor Crabb. No, you got you have Taylor Crabb and Jay Gibb right now at around 8. Maybe, yeah, they're 8th place. And points, where the Spanish team, Herrera, Guevara, they're not that far behind. George Andre, new team, pretty good. Mullen Sorum rule the world. So now if you look at I'm going to look at bids right now. So right now for the men's beach volleyball, Japan's got as a host, right? Mm-hmm. I think you have 16 spots for people who have points. You have 4 bids, and I don't know how the other 4 are decided. I'm not sure. Continentals, the African Games, Norseka, and so there's 4 or 5 spots decided by that. So there's 15, right? 15 people get in by points. 4 get in by their continental, whatever, represent each continent.
Right.
Sorry, Antarctica. And the last 4 are automatic bid tournaments. So what we got right now, we got Taylor and Jake in good shape. You know why? Because at the end they started to hit their stride, and not only did they play multiple tournaments, but they started finishing higher. And as you start finishing 5th or higher in these tournaments, it's only a matter of time. Because if you've noticed, all of the 4-star or 5-star tournaments, if you go to the quarterfinals, it's always the same 8 teams. So if you're in the final 8 a couple of times, or if you're in the final 4 here, or you make a finals and lose, that qualifies as close enough, because it's not like there's a different 8 teams getting in, getting into the 5 stars and 4 stars at the end. It's 6 of those 8 teams are the same people. Mal, Sorum, Semen, the Russians, the Germans hit their stride at the end. Oh my goodness, did they hit their stride at the end. And good, you got it. Let's put it up. So for my first team, I got Taylor Crabb. I have Jay Gibb. For my second team, if you look on points, while everybody was also playing domestic tournaments, playing the AVP, playing here, those guys were getting points. Those guys were making semis in 4 and 5-star tournaments, losing in the semis, losing the bronze medal game, but still qualifies as close enough. You ever see that golf commercial? It was like a lotto commercial where the guy putts, and the golf ball almost goes in, and everybody looks at it, and the guy says, "Close enough, yay!" And it was like this new saying: "If your number's close enough, you go in prizes." And it was like, so right now, they qualify as close enough. And even if Phil and Nick hit their stride, and even if they start playing in every tournament, even if they enjoy some success, albeit semis or whatever, the same way, Try and Trevor are still doing it too. So they're getting points, but also Try and Trevor's still getting points. So I got to give it up to both brothers Crabb. Throw a little Jake Gibb salt in there, and a little bit of Tri-Born pepper, and those are going to be our American representatives. And now, as to whether they do well, between now, time will tell. But my eye test says that that bronze, playing for the bronze will be ecstasy. They're not. Again, don't take it personally. Okay, I'm attacking volleyball players with volleyball. I don't see them winning the gold, but if they do win the gold, I will be happy to be wrong. I am an American. Okay, I am stamped red, white, and blue. I am a patriot. I am a Gulf War vet. So I'd be happy to be wrong if they whatever. I just don't see it. Yeah. So just because for the people who are sensitive out there, don't think that just because I don't pick them to win, don't mean I don't support my team.
Well, let me ask you this: if it's close and they both qualify, do you think USA Volleyball would step in and put Nick and
Why are you going to trap me in that question?
Just because I'll answer it myself. Well, because we kind of answered it before, but just because it's Phil and it's his last. Do you know what I mean? And maybe they just, they talk to, Trevor and try, and that's a really difficult decision to try to make, but those guys, if they kind of like, hey, like we're gonna help you out to get to the 2024,
It's a possibility.
And that's on home soil.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a big one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a possibility. Let me tell you something, though. If that happens, after Trevor and Try invested a lot of time, their own money until they had sponsors, just to get there where they have to go, to be Olympic hopefuls, only in the end to be like, for a bunch of people to get together and say, nah, I'm out. I'm done with beach volleyball. I'm not messing with American beach volleyball at that high level anymore. I will continue to monitor the future. I'm with beach volleyball national events. I went to JCVA, representing Ohana. Thank you, Chris Hanneman. I'll continue to make sure the future of volleyball is good. But as far as commentating or whatever, I'm out, because that is a lifelong thing that I've always had a problem with. And you and I have experienced that here. You do everything right. You jump through everybody's hoop. You do everything that's asked of you, and in some instances with excellence. And then just a bunch of people get together and just go, nah. I know what's right for the sport, and I know what's right as far as a moral thing to do. And this is the one instance, in my opinion, albeit humble or arrogant, where they're both the same. It is the moral thing to do. It is the athletically right thing to do. It is the sensible thing to do. It is the logical thing to do. It's Try and Trevor if they've earned it. You know what helps them? Maybe whatever bid tournament's left, if they win that.
You ain't gotta say nothing.
It's a political nightmare. It'd be a political nightmare if they won a bid and didn't get in.
I hear you. I mean, that's why that's what kind of want to ask it, because I would love to for USA Volleyball to have the continuity to be able to speak to and also be respected enough to make an offer like that and then follow through. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think there's enough backing behind the words that they would have to say, because Brazil does this a lot. Right. You know what I mean? This is why I'm saying, and they have a lot of good teams, and then it's their choice. We have like 3 teams in contention. They had like 6 last Olympics.
They've always been top heavy.
It's different, but it's still reminiscent of, there were some who thought others deserved the chance to be there because they earned it. So that's all I'm saying, is where the people on the higher ups who do have that decision, there is that decision to be made, whether or not it's an easy decision or a tough decision. It's their decision.
I mean, I could see a scenario where Phil and Nick show them something.
That's what
they go to a 4-star, boss it. Go to a 5, win it. Go to the bid, semis, finals, and everybody just goes, you know what, Trevor and Try, you want to sit that out, I can see that happening, and I think I'm just gonna reserve my opinion to, not because I'm scared of nobody out there. I ain't scared of none of y'all, but no, I'll just say it. Even then, if there's 2 ways to get in, and if the situation were reversed, they would never do that for Try or Trevor. So I say no, because Phil and Nick, even if they get in and if they boss it, they still don't represent our best shot at winning the gold.
I mean, I agree.
And, do you want to know why? Because like in addition to them not having the same fire, and I don't like saying that, because I'm not playing. Right. To me, I reserve that whole fire or question someone's hearts for people who are actually still playing the sport or who have played at that. Dane Blanton, he let him. Dane, sign you up. You could talk about who quit or who has fire or who's interested in not. For Noah, you guys, who become the measure and stick in which all these players have become compared. You guys do that, but for me, it's a copycat world. I think people get a little older. It's the same thing we said with Jon Jones. Some fighters get a little older and they lose their step a little bit, and the rest of the world finally gets off their lazy ass and spends some time in a video room and starts looking at ways to beat you. Mm-hmm. If Phil likes to do a cutback crossbody on his option, if he sees it, then throw up a freaking 3-block. Mess with it a little bit. Almost, in fact, if you're gonna serve a lollipop, almost count on him doing an option. You're gonna see if is Phil gonna jump set? No. How do you know? Because you actually got off your lazy ass and watched some video. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Living in a video room, getting good coaching is what I think would help them close the gap, and that's where Try and Trevor, I think, are gonna make a sting. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We got the women.
Yeah.
So so we both agree who has the best shot at making it, with the lurking variable of Phil and Nick.
Yeah.
And everybody else isn't even They don't get to scratch and
it's not really.
They don't get to scratch and sniff.
Yeah.
All right, so we got the women up here.
Yeah, Alex and April. I mean, that's a pretty obvious one.
Very happy at April's just consistent play. I'm very happy at Alex, just what she's become the last 2 years, and now just becoming this real baller with these 2 or 3 dimensional shots that are just hard to stop, like her sharp cross court, well scattered out.
Yeah.
Sure. Good luck stopping it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, she likes to penetrate on her right hand in, and I could use it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, easier said than done.
Yeah.
So.
Whew, yeah, that team is tough. I mean, I could even, I don't want to call it, but there's like 3 teams in the world that are like, like that Brazilian squad, that Canadian squad, and then, Alex and
isn't it convenient?
Oh wow!
Look at the points.
Yeah, there you go.
Aren't they? And they're just up there.
Wow, Anna, Patricia, and Rebecca are number 4. That's my favorite team.
Yeah,
that's my favorite team in the world.
Well, I like Rebecca because I've only seen her play one tournament where it looked like she was taking plays off. She doesn't, and you don't even, right? You'd have to look for it because she doesn't do it. She doesn't take plays off. She takes people's lunch money, dude.
Yeah.
So right now, the ones who are in for the automatic bid, Japan's the host. Canada, if you remember, they beat Kleiman and Ross on that World Championships, whatever. Latvia, big up to Tina Gardina. Your godfather, Aldous Lucis, is going to be staying with me here in Hermosa Beach this summer. So maybe we get to watch you together. Congratulations. Aldous Lucis is my volleyball mentor.
Okay.
And Spain got in. The team escapes me, but we can address that later.
Oh, wow,
so who's the second American team, Rob?
Well, I mean, Brooke and Carrie, I really didn't see that they were that far up. They were at like 17 the last time, maybe 2 months ago.
Oh, they're higher now.
Oh, they're like, right there. Yeah, yep. What is she, 7 now?
Yeah.
I mean, I really didn't know that. I would have gone Sponsel and Clays, to be honest, but you have an Olympic champion, and you have a defender behind the Olympic champion, and pretty sure they're going to serve Brooke Sweat.
That's the question.
I like that ball control. Carrie's on the left-hand side. I love that. That's where, she dominated her career most of the time. Yeah, man. I mean, the biggest thing, especially in the women's game, is that block. If you have a block that takes court, man, it changes the whole game. So think
about every team, right? That was in the top 4 or in the Olympic Games.
I mean, and Carrie's small. Carrie's small. Like Pavin's what 6'9", 6'8".
Jeez, I don't know.
And then you got what's her name, Alex Kleiman, who's what 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah.
Like those girls. Like Carrie's a little small on that, but she's got experience. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
She played with the best.
People taller than Triborn, and he's such a better.
Exactly.
He's so much better.
The height really doesn't matter.
Those guys.
But just the presence. You know what I mean? Like maybe those players don't have to be as good, but if they're bigger, they still have maybe a similar presence. You know what I mean? So, I'm definitely going with Brooke and Carrie then. I'm definitely going with Brooke and Carrie.
I'm going with Brooke and Carrie again. Once again, it's supposed to be a debate show. It turned out to be just a solid hour where me and you were just agreeing on everything.
About sports.
Yeah, we'll come up with some real questions next week where I could look at you like,
what are you talking about?
Sound with G Unit hat. It's like, huh? So I like Carrie and Brooke because of their activity on the international scene, and I think Carrie is already seasoned on that, and she does her homework. And Brooke, as she continues to play in these high level games and be in these situations where she's winning by 2 and losing by 2, I think her confidence will be better, and I think that's what needs to happen more, because the last few times I've seen her in these tight situations where it's decided by 2, she's lost. I've seen tournaments where in pool play it just looked like the wheels fell off, and I'm like, they're not getting out of pool. And then the next game, oh wow, you just played a team that's better than the team you lost to, and you beat them in 2. And one of the games is like a beer game, where you hold them under 10 points. So as a general rule, never count out Carrie. Carrie's a savage. She's a nice girl when she's not on that court. Okay, I don't even think she's mean on the court. I just think her play is aggressive. She is arguably one of the top 3 best beach players in the history of the sport. Like I give away my age. I like Jackie Silva, so I'm biased. The best team was definitely her and Misty May. I mean, so there's
bar none.
Yeah. So that's a consensus or whatever. But I talked to Casey Jennings, talked to Wendy Jones, who are just Casey's her husband. Wendy's like her number one fan. Never count out Kerry Walsh.
I hear you.
So the question is it going to be Brooke? Is Brooke doing the right thing? Is Brooke keeping her promises? Is Brooke staying injury free? Is Brooke finding herself where she's pushing too hard, where she might be sustaining injuries? Is Brooke allowing her technique to get stronger on its own? All of these questions I would love to have her on the podcast. I mean, this is Sports Debate Tuesday, but my podcast, The Option, which is on iTunes and Spotify. Love to have you on the show, Brooke, and we could talk about where you are. Lurking variable, just like the men had Dahlhauser and Nick Lucena.
Mm-hmm.
You got Sponsor and you got Clays flying under the radar. And if you look at the rankings again, they're not that far behind.
They're not, which is crazy at their age, you know.
I don't expect to see. Well, you're not going to expect to see Kerry in the AVP. She just is not playing in the AVP. No. But I don't think you're going to expect to see Sponsor and Clays in a lot of tournaments, except for maybe the Gold Series, maybe New York. I think you'll see him at Huntington. You will not see him in Austin. You probably won't even see him in New York, because in order for them to keep up on points, in order for them to keep up, they're going to have to play, because, again, they can finish semifinals. Kerry and Brooke only need to get out of pool to stay ahead. So, you know, it's a race, and and they got a huge head start. You know,
and I'm sure that Kelly Clays and Sarah Spossel have a lot of, good pull for them.
Yeah. You know, I was going to say, as far as this whole USA volleyball thing,
and
you think that they would screw Kerry out of that, you would again. That'd be another instance where I'm like, I'm out.
And I'm not saying that this is America. I mean, this is like USA volleyball's, calling card. This is any single government that has a government body that rules over their Olympic sports. This is what they can do. So this can be the conversation for any country, but we're in America and we're talking about USA volleyball having the choice on both sides to choose that second team or first team.
Well, the one thing they have in common is both players move the volleyball needle. Kerry Walsh is not just a legendary player. She transcends the sport. And when I say transcend, for people listening at home, transcends meaning people that don't watch the sport, that don't even know the rules of the sport, know who Kerry Walsh is. Phil, maybe not so much. There are people, who's that tall ball guy, whatever, this and that. But that's why I don't think they would do her like that. No way in hell.
So, she definitely has a lot of pull.
So we got two lurking variable teams, but right now Makar's the Crabs, and Jake and Trevor try, and Makar's Kerry and Brooke, and of course arguably the you can make an argument that the best team in the world right now, save the Canadians, Kleiman and
April
Ross.
Yeah, it should be a good one, and I love to see what that German team does. You never know with Lubick. She just picked up some random big. Yeah. And she's just. I'm
always concerned about the coaching. Right now the German teams are just, with respect, they're just better coached.
You can see that. They're
not trying to say the Americans aren't doing their homework, though. I think the last 2 years I've seen a significant improvement on just American coaching at the AVP level, on some of these local tournaments, the FIVB, and I'm very, very happy to see that. Because I know some of the coaches out there. What do you mean I don't do my job? I do my work. Yeah, you do and you don't. Be real. If you have a choice to go out, Nito, you're living in a video room till 2 o'clock in the morning. I know who's living in the video room till 2 o'clock in the morning. I know them by name. So they want to tell that lie to somebody else. It's fine. But in this podcast, we ain't BS and the BSers.
Well, and just to that, like the same thing with volleyball players, same thing with coaches. If you put in that time, you should see those results. If you're putting in, maybe it's not efficient. Yeah. Maybe it's, you're overworking yourself. But if you're putting in that time, you should have those results. It should show. Yeah. Sometimes there's a lot of people who put in the work and it don't show. Yeah. Because if you just, it's like you're
sometimes you put in the work and the team's not good enough. But we don't. I don't think we have that.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like if you go to the weight room and you're just lifting weights, that doesn't mean you're getting stronger. You know what I mean? You got to lift it. You got to protract the scaps. You got to make sure the core is tight. You got to use the glutes. If you don't do that stuff, you're not really working out. You're just lifting weights, So the same thing with volleyball and coaching and all that stuff. Your intention matters. If you're on the court and you're just doing things, that's wonderful. You're getting a nice little cardio workout, but you're trying to get better at an individual specific skill or skills, you have to practice those skills with intention. You know, how you're going to perform them in a high pressure situation. You know?
Very well said.
So.
Very well. So we're going to wrap up, but before we wrap up, we have something called the lightning rounds. This category, we only have, I think we only have a handful of questions. It's true or false. We could just do, we could just say one word answer, true or false, or we can elaborate maybe one sentence or two.
You guys gonna buzz in or?
You got it. Actually, I'm doing a buzzer later on the edit. On the edit, we're gonna have like a countdown.
Oh, perfect.
Countdown like 5 minutes to just go back and forth on whatever, and when the buzzer goes off.
All right.
Working on my technology, people. Be patient. I love you.
It's almost first take.
Yep.
Okay, first one. Tom Brady will go to the Raiders. True or false?
False. Staying with the Patriots. Give him $60 million for the Patriots, $60 million with the Raiders. He knows that he's gonna stay with the devil he knows, as opposed to the devil he does not.
Yeah, false. I mean, there's no line for him with the Raiders. There's just no false.
All right, second one. The Lakers will win the NBA title this year.
True.
I got to go with false. They're not even the best team in their own city.
Oh, come on with that. I mean, what, by record or by just because they lost to them?
I think with styles making matchups, I think the Western Finals could very well be the Lakers and the Clippers.
Yeah, but they also couldn't see
And
them.
I don't see the Lakers beating them 4 out of 7 times.
But I don't. Yeah, the Clippers. Sorry, it's a light round.
Finally got a debate.
Yeah, right.
Had to wait to the end. Now
We
I
gotta
could
save
not.
this one
I'm
for
hiding the
next week.
sweat.
The Clippers got to beat people
You want
to
a
get
Nets
to the
hat, bro?
Lakers.
No, I'm just kidding.
You know, I think the Clippers will eventually, but they got to beat people. They got to get healthy. There's a lot of things the Clippers got to do to in the playoffs, in a 7-game series, beat the Lakers.
Right.
Beat AD and LeBron.
Yep.
Sorry.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
There will be at least 3 title changes in the UFC this year.
False.
I got to go with false because right now the champions are
Young and strong.
are beyond number 1 contender heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just name 3: Khabib,
Yeah.
Kamaru, Stylebender, Amanda Nunes. I mean, I don't know if she's gonna go on a diet and get 3 belts.
Valentina Shevchenko.
Shevchenko.
Goodness, who's beating
Oh
her?
my god. Nope.
Yeah, heavyweight champ. I mean, that's going to be going up and down always.
Well, I don't see Stipe fighting to the end of the year, and I don't think Cormier's going to wait that long. So it's a big false. We agree.
Yeah.
All right. Zion will win Rookie of the Year.
False.
False. Got to give it to Ja.
Ja.
Next question.
Ja.
The Cleveland Browns will make the playoffs next year.
That's about as much as I can say. They actually got themselves a coach, not a tight end coach. So they're probably gonna do a little bit better.
Yeah.
And they almost made it in.
Baker's my least favorite quarterback, but I got to give it up to the team that backs him up. They back him up, and they're going to be the team we love to hate when they make the playoffs. That's true.
Yeah.
All right. Last one. Diego Sanchez quit and took the DQ decision.
True, but quitting, there's more to that. But go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I say true, but there are levels of quitting which
Yeah.
you and I are not going to opine on because, again, just like I said for volleyball, I save that whole quitting thing and that whole heart thing for the people who actually do fight. You know, I don't want people coming back into me like, you step in the cage, you try that and see who quit or not. And they're not 100% wrong. They're mostly right. So as far as like, unless it's obvious.
Right.
Where like someone's just like they're on the ground and they're getting beaten, they're just tapping out because they don't want to get hit no more. You know, that's a quit. You know, no, I thought Diego Sanchez was getting beat. He was waning. He was on his way to losing a terribly skewed decision, if not getting finished at the end. And when he got kicked on the way down, which hurt, and then the one we got illegally kicked was even worse. And they were like, and the ref who was trying to, pump him up, saying, "Oh, take all the time you need, take the 5 minutes," and then he's just like, "I don't think so."
Yeah.
I don't think so. So yeah, he quit, but not like, not.
He wasn't
not
sitting in his corner and
yeah.
saying, "No, I can't do it no more."
Yeah, not in the way where you and I would describe that. That I have MMA artists knocking on our door.
Well, yeah, I would say, with Diego Sanchez, he's a super old fighter now.
It's the last guy from Tough.
Yeah, and 4 fights ago, if this happened, I would say, okay, I'd understand. But he took fights against guys. This guy was twice his size, height and girth, and he
We were talking about that
Yeah, that's
Saturday
what I'm
night. We were like, look at this, right, Miranda? Like, look at the size of that dude,
guy,
man.
this doesn't even look like it's like I was saying before. It looks like Demetrius Johnson versus Dominic Cruz. Like, it was just so outside of the realm of reality.
Now you guys got to watch the match because you got to see it.
Oh, what a great fight, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, Diego Sanchez, he didn't quit, but I think he actually made, for the first time maybe, the real vet decision for himself.
Right.
You know, he's a guy who would run himself into a wall time and time again, whether it was good for him or not.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
he actually took himself and said, I cannot do this because I was illegally strucken twice, pretty much.
Yep.
And I don't, the same spot.
And I'm with you in a sense because he wasn't going into that match like he was retiring after that was over. He, Tough One, guys, The Ultimate Fighter Season 1 basically has these just slew of Hall of Famers. Okay, you got Forrest Griffin, you got Stefan Bonner, Kenny Florian, Chris Lieben, Josh Koscheck. All of these are great elite fighters that came out of that camp, and Diego's the last one left, and he's still got a lot of gas in the tank. But honestly, he just needs to go. I don't think because of the way people are cutting down at 170, because there's that huge 15-pound difference between both weight classes. If he's going to continue to fight,
man.
And if he wants to be able to read to his kids, without getting that damage, he might want to consider never fighting 170 again.
I know, man. That was not for him. I don't think Dana does a pretty good job at, minimizing the fighter or putting fighters in better situations, not in worse situations. Like the whole Max Holloway thing, like he just threw him right back down.
Yeah.
He was not 170. He was 155.
Oh, you got the highlights? Yeah, rewind that part. Right there. Did you see it, Miranda? All right, we're going to show a little bit of it. Before we go, we're wrapping up here, people. Thank you for listening. But for the people watching the video, it's basically this. Got him cornered. Watch this knee. This knee hurt him. It hit him in the sternum. And then he takes one right here just before he falls to the gut. And that should shut him down. That shot to the liver. Oh, the solar plexus? Yeah, that shut him down. It shuts your body down. He couldn't defend himself, and then the illegal hit on the way down. So that was just bad. You can get out of that before they take us down. All right, well, we're taking this down right now. Hey, very good sports debate, my man. We finally found something at the end we disagreed on.
I got a debate.
For my hostess with the mostest, that is Miranda Gagne. We love you. For Rob, keep him McLean, man. I'm glad you're training. I'm glad you're out there. I saw you north of the pier doing your thing. Hopefully, maybe you and me get some sessions. You could help me get my stuff together physically on the court for maybe an hour or two. All right?
For sure, man.
Cool, man. Love all of you guys. For all of us over here and for all of you guys watching us at home, at Starbucks, or wherever you at, I'm Jason DeBeas for the crew. This is Sports Debate
Check out the Option
Tuesday.
Podcast on OptionTV.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.